Welcome friends to this video. We are going to be drawing the femur bone. So I'm going to break this up into two parts. First, we're going to look at the construction and the shape of how to draw the femur. And then the second part, we will look at drawing the proportions so we can kind of understand how it relates to the size of the rest of the body. So let's first start with a sphere. That'll be the joint. And then we can draw a cylinder at about a 45-degree angle downward. That'll be the neck. And then, move this over a bit. We'll have another cylinder that angles downward, and it's gonna go in, and we'll see that on the bigger view when we get to that part. About like this. And then for the condyles, we'll have this kind of this X shape, and it's a little bit broader than the femur, and then it'll kind of turn, I'll close it to look like a bow. All right, so now we can kind of fill in the shape to get a better idea. So we'll curve in from each corner here. This is where the condyles are. Curve here at the bottom. So that's where the joint is. And now we have the greater trochanter, which is a bigger notch on the top. That's where the muscles attach. And then we also have another one here, the smaller bump. It's called the lesser trochanter. And you can kind of see that here in the visual. So now that we have the shapes, let's go ahead and, oh, and one other thing is this is actually more kind of like a mushroom shape. Rather than a sphere once we have everything connected. All right, so now we can go ahead and erase our guidelines so we can get a better idea, picture of what the femur looks like. There we go. So that's kind of the construction of the femur. Now let's go ahead and move on, and I'll kind of zoom out here so you can kind of take a look at the illustration. All right, so for the second part, let's go ahead and draw the proportions so you can kind of get an idea how it relates in terms of the body. So we'll start with another sphere. And I have other videos that talks about the head proportions, and essentially, just for the context of this video, I'm gonna make, if you cut this into thirds, or cut this top third and bottom third, and then you take that size and drop it down, that gives you the jaw. So now we have the size of our skull. And then we're gonna take the length of the skull, and we're gonna drop down 8 marks. So there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, 4, 5, 6, actually 7. It's going to be 8 tall. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The knees come right here, and halfway right here, this is where the pelvis is. So let's go ahead and draw in the pelvis just so you can find out where the femur attaches. And I have another video I can link in the description. For the pelvis, it is twice the width of the cranium. So a little bit wider than that. And it comes up to about 3/4 of the way here. And then about 1/4 of the way it actually comes down here. The hip joints are right in there. Right at this line where the pelvis is. And then it comes down here. And then same thing, it comes up here and comes down. So we're not going to get too much into the pelvis. That's in another video, but at least it'll give you an idea the proportions. So now we can start drawing in the femur. So we'll start with that ball joint. And we'll come down with a little bit of cylinder. Now, depending on how you're standing, if your legs are together, then the femurs are gonna actually come in at about that same 35 degree angle downward. Now, if you're standing your feet straight up and down, they won't curve in quite as much. So depending on how you're standing, I'm just going to kind of curve it down so the joint is right on top of the knee. So we're saying that the feet are right about here, pretty close together. So same thing, ball joint here, cylinder, and then here's the other cylinder. And you can see these are two head links for proportion. Okay, and now I can do the kind of that bow tie shape for the condyles. I'm just going to shade this in. Here's the greater trochanter. It's going to kind of bulge out there, the lesser and bulge there. Same thing over here, bulge on the outside, a little bit on the inside here. All right. That's going to do it for this tutorial. I hope you found this helpful. I am planning to continue my series of anatomy to better improve my figure drawing. So let me know if you have any suggestions on videos that you would like to see. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on any of those. And I can't wait to see you in the next video. See you next time. Bye-bye.